hockey has proven over and over and over the years that what one team does not want, another team will take. And hockey's always proven that a coach will always think that they can bring out the best in a player. Look at Tampa. They took Richards, right? I'm sorry, Chicago.
Chicago, yeah.
Chicago took Richards when everybody else thought he was done.
Yeah, but Frank, there's only one difference, and your point is correct. There's always some massive ego that thinks he can make a player out of a guy who was, particularly a player with the skill set of Kessel. It's nothing.
I'm a big fan of Kessel's skill set.
I know that. I know that's why you defend him, but you shouldn't, because it's nothing to do with his skill set. It has all to do, Frank, with $56 million over 7 years. Nothing to
I believe that that's a huge liability for him and the Toronto Maple Leafs in selling him or moving him. I don't think he'll be moved because I believe that he's just too much of a liability, and I think that because sometimes you need to deal with your mistakes, and I think they're going to try to deal with that mistake of this massive salary, and I think Babcock's going to try to do the dance.
Billy, if Kessel's not moved, does he learn from last year and actually skate more than 10 times in a summer and come to camp in shape and realize what the expectation is on him based on the new head coach and the new regime here? Like, in your opinion, do we see a different Phil Kessel this year, or can he not change his stripes?
I'm willing to bet you, Mr. Cohen,
Yep.
$1 gazillion that Babcock will not stand for his bullshit.
I don't think he will either. I'm with you. I agree with you.
No, but you see, Babcock could do this, and I'm not a proponent of this, but enough people are saying it. If you don't at least advance it, there's nothing going on. It's a non-starter unless Babcock flies to Milwaukee or flies to Wisconsin, wherever Kessel is. Nobody knows where he is. And he sits down and says, "Hey, Phil, here's our problem. Nobody wants you on this contract. I want to find out from you if you're committed to be ready to play at the beginning of the season."
And I agree with you. I think that's a very valid point. But let me tell you something. Ovechkin had the same sit-down with Barry Trotz that you just inferred that possibly could happen between Babcock and Phil Kessel. And Barry Trotz got through to Ovechkin, who is, in the Guinness Book of Records as coach killer.
Yeah, Ovechkin bought into what Trotz was selling. There's no doubt about that.
In fairness to Ovechkin, has wasted more years than Phil Kessel.
Mm-hmm.
Kessel, I don't know what's left on Ovechkin's deal. I know no one can take it. Nobody. But I agree with you. If whether he bought in or whether he recognized he had to buy in, I don't know what it was.
Ovechkin played a great.
Made Ovechkin a more effective team.
Great. Ovechkin played a great series. They didn't do what they were supposed to do, but Ovechkin played a great series.
Well, he did what he was told, Frank. He played.
In my view, I agree with you.
He played as hard a team game as I've ever seen him play. He's had his
bravo. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and that's because of the coach. And there's nothing to say that Mike Babcock couldn't do the same. I'm telling you that
I think Babcock is a stronger coach than Barry Trotz. I love Barry Trotz. I think he's a great coach, but I think Babcock is even much more of a coach. And I agree with your scenario that that's what he's going to do. He's going to sit him down. I just don't think anybody will touch him with that salary.
They're not
liability.
If they're not going to pay the salary, they're not making a deal. They're just going to dump him. And the only way you can do that, it's commonly known as cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Exactly.
You have to tell people that that rebuilding thing we sent out to you, that was bullshit. Don't have the balls to rebuild without getting a boatload for Kessel and Phaneuf. I'm sorry we misled you. And you know what? There'll be 20,000 fans lined up for tickets in 2 minutes. So it doesn't really matter. But I have a feeling that Shanahan has committed to tearing the team to the point where you don't have to wonder whether your best player is going to show up in shape or whether he's going to try and defend his team when it's in his darkest moment. And those two, Phaneuf and Kessel, are not the reason for why they were so bad, but they're the reason there was no pushback.